Hello, I'm Ruth, and welcome back to This Is How We Roll. This week's episode is called Social Etiquettes. I will be going over things that are not offensive to people with disabilities in a social situation. I feel like this is important to talk about because a lot less things are offensive to those with disabilities than a lot of able-bodied people think. First of all, I want to talk about making jokes about a person's disability. Now, everyone who knows me knows that I make fun of my disability all the time. It's kind of the way I deal with it. I think that laughter is the key to life. I also have a tendency to like the more biting side of humor, so it's another reason why I really like disability jokes. You may be wondering who can joke about a person's disability, and when and how is it okay to start joking about a person's disability? As far as who can joke about a person's disability, it's whoever the disabled person feels close to. So this is often family members, significant others, close friends, and caregivers that have been working with them for a long time. When it comes to when it's okay to start making disability jokes, I would say whenever you know you have a real tight bond with that person, and they know that you're only joking, or when that person makes a joke about their disability in front of you. Finally, how is it okay to start making disability jokes? Only if the disabled person likes them. It's only okay if the disabled person deals with their disability by using humor. You cannot force anyone to like humor based around their disability, and you cannot blame someone for not liking that kind of humor. Disabilities, like a lot of other things, can be a sensitive topic, and the subject of humor can often make sensitive subjects easier for the person dealing with them, but in turn they can also make it a lot harder if that is not the way the person chooses to deal with their situation. Also keep in mind it's okay at any time for someone to say that they don't want a certain part of their disability to be joked about, even if that person does like disability jokes. It doesn't mean that everything is always on the table to be joked about. Next, I would like to talk about what to do if you are having a social gathering that is not mobility equipment friendly. As a person who is wheelchair bound, I am fully aware, just like every other person who uses mobility equipment, that there are many activities that I can participate in, but there are also many activities in which I cannot. Due to this, if you have a friend who is physically disabled, and you are planning a social gathering that they will not be able to attend due to access or physical demand of activities, it's important to tell them. I know personally I've been put in many situations in the past where my able-bodied friends were planning to hang out and do something that I cannot, and they wouldn't tell me about it because they were afraid of making me feel excluded. But the problem with this is it actually made me feel more excluded because I was not allowed to know about the plans that were going on. So the best way to deal with this situation is to tell your disabled friend that you're going to hang out with the rest of the friend group and that you would love for them to be there, but they cannot be because of physical demand of the circumstances. Then after the event, just share highlights, show pictures, or catch your friend up on important conversations that were had. Now I'd like to talk about how to ask someone with a disability how they complete a certain task. Well, in all honesty, you just ask them. I feel like a lot of able-bodied people are afraid of offending disabled people by asking them how they complete certain tasks that may come up in the conversation. The truth is, it is actually the opposite of offensive. I know personally, as a disabled individual, it makes me feel important to my friends and others because they're taking the time to ask me how I do something. I'm sure the vast majority of those who are disabled feel the same way. For example, if a new friend is talking to me about wanting to hang out and ask me what we should do, if I suggest going for lunch and that friend does not know how I eat, it's completely okay for them to ask, "How do you eat?" To which I would respond, just like everyone else. Finally, I'd like to end this episode by giving a big thank you to Bitmoji for adding a wheelchair to their avatars. For those of you who do not know what Bitmoji is, it is an app where you create an avatar that looks like you, and then it is inserted into a whole bunch of virtual stickers. If you would like to access the wheelchair feature, simply type wheelchair into the search bar before typing the mood or response you were looking for. Bitmoji doesn't have any other mobility equipment yet, but I'm sure that it's coming soon. I've got to say I'm really excited about this because, well, first of all, I love Bitmojis. It's literally my favorite way to communicate. And secondly, I've been emailing Bitmoji for a long time, asking them to add a wheelchair feature, as well as other mobility equipment. And it's nice that me and others who have been emailing have finally been heard. I encourage you guys to advocate for change you want to see in the world, even if it's just a small thing like a change in the Bitmoji app, or a big thing. You have to advocate for that change because people aren't going to change things if they don't think people want them to change. That is it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we're all different, so just roll with it.